Football season is here, temporarily at least. Basketball has come to an end, unfortunately, a little bit early for both the men's and women's basketball programs. So for now, along with baseball season, it is football season. From the Pink Seeds podcast, Jacob Lane, producer Keith, Vince Lococo. We've got a jam-packed show for you tonight as we dive into spring football. They've allowed folks back in to watch. Our guys were there. They'll break it down and give their thoughts on what stood out and where there's some work to be done. We've got some recruiting updates as well as a recurring segment. Here we go. 2 episodes in a row. Boom. What are you talking about? We'll get into things that are occupying our conversations. If you haven't already, subscribe to the show. Thank you for checking us out on the Pink Seeds podcast, anywhere you get your shows from on audio. State of Louisville on YouTube. Subscribe right here below. Fellas, how we doing?
Doing well. Cannot complain. Not much going on over here. Realized today how much of like a... since being Italian is a lot of my Twitter feed, I didn't realize until today like how Italian my life is, because I went and picked up like Italian sausage and sauce for my mother today and made a sandwich for dinner. And it's like the little things I don't know what I would live without.
I didn't realize how Italian I was. It's going to be the graphic, the no context graphic of the show tonight. I love it. Getting started with a bang here. Keith, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, doing all right. Open practices are back, so I'm having a great time going out and just checking the team out.
Yeah, a little football, some cold weather makes you start feeling like it's the middle of November again.
Saturday was perfect. Like grab your coffee, sweatshirt, sweatpants. Not too cold. Thank God we were on the practice field. I would have hated being on the game field with the wind and stuff. But
I was going to say a little windy, but
it was not bad at all.
Well, I'm happy for you guys that you got to get out and enjoy some football. I spent my weekend, unfortunately, in Lexington. Thursday, a little rough. Got to see Vince on Thursday, which made up for that. But went back as if I didn't enjoy the humiliation enough on Thursday for games on Saturday. So did a little bit of hoops this weekend. But I'm excited for football to be the topic of conversation because it's a lot better than what I unfortunately watched in Lexington. But
Spin Zone, when it comes to football, you got to have a nice little sit down with Brock Kaufman.
That was
Louisville commit. Yeah,
that's right. Got to meet Brock and his mother, who are obviously from the Lexington area, came over to Tin Roof for the podcast prior to the Creighton game, and they are a fantastic family. Brock's a great kid. Really enjoyed that. So, yeah, that was great.
He was smart, dude. Like his just coming up. I'm excited for him to get in the meeting rooms at this level because with him having a leg up, having an NFL high school coach already.
Yeah, I learned that.
Yeah,
didn't know Chad Pennington coach football in Kentucky.
I feel like I knew that. I feel like I knew that. I just didn't really.
He's coached in Kentucky for a while.
Is he from Kentucky?
I think he's from West Virginia, but he's been in that area for quite some time.
But regardless, you can tell how smart the kid is just by talking small football with him.
The other thing, Jacob, since you talked to him and this is going to be a free plug for Starting 502, the University of Louisville basketball podcast here on the State of Louisville Podcast Network. Did you ask him about how he was a walking bucket in high school? Like, the man put up like 20 points a game this last season for Sayre. That's absurd.
Right. I absolutely did. I told him that if we got to the point again as a basketball program of needing some football walk-on players, that he would be the first one we call. So, yes, I did learn that he is a hooper. So we need that. Vince can tell you about all the days of the playing ball with the coaching staff, and I'm sure at some point participated with some of the guys on the team. So those are competitive games.
No, I was not good enough to play in those. Yeah.
They didn't let you play when you played?
Yeah, they don't let the white walk-on fullbacks participate in those. That's just skill position only. If you can't, but hey, I'm happy to watch.
You can't play. Right.
Boom. Nail it. I was happy to watch though. I mean, Jalen Smith was. I stand by this that Jalen Smith could have played basketball for our basketball team at that time period. D. Smith, too.
Yeah.
Both those guys could have played.
There's been a lot of guys that have come through there that could have played basketball as well as football. I always wish we got a two-sport athlete. I wrote a couple years ago about Trey Donaldson, who now plays at Michigan, but started at Auburn, was going to play basketball and football. I was like, that'd be awesome. Jalen Suggs was another one back in the day. Who was really the number one player in the country. Who?
James Quick.
Yeah,
James Quick was a phenomenal basketball player.
Yeah. A lot of guys that spend their off season playing basketball. So yeah, as I mentioned, we got a jam-packed show here on From the Pink Seats podcast, part of the State of Louisville podcast network. And if you're perusing around YouTube and you're interested in some content, there is some food content finally hitting the internet from our friend here. I don't know what we're going to call host Keith, like Eating Keith or Hungry Keith. I'm not sure yet. But producer Keith stepping in front of the camera theoretically. You technically are in front of the camera all the time. But some food content down at Parlor. How was that?
It was great. Yeah, videos up on the YouTube right now. You can go in and check out a lot of the delicious items that they have. They were very, very good to us. So again, huge shout out to Parlor. We went out to the one over in Jeffersonville. Not J-Town. Got to get them. Got to get the right one. But no, they treated us to some good items. Man, the basketball NIL food items. I really hope those aren't a limited time thing because I've gotten them like 3 times since I went for the food video.
Yeah,
awesome.
Man, that fat spray grinder's so good.
They're the only spot
that's your preview.
They're the only spot I will get a pepperoni pizza. Their hot honey pepperoni pizza is phenomenal. I mean, it's one of the best for me topping. I don't like a lot of meat on my pizza. I know, shocker.
Kick saving a butte, Vince.
Yeah. But the Cups pepperonis with the hot honey. Oh.
Yep, that was actually one of the pizzas that they brought out for us to try. The pepperoni pizza bombs. If you haven't tried those, holy smokes! Yeah.
Great.
So.
Yeah, well, shout out to you all for going out there and eating on company dime. Way to put the hours in, fellas. Love that. But no, seriously,
dibs on the Jeff Irby's review we do.
There you go.
You can be my plus one anytime, Vince.
Well, speaking of eating, let's talk football, fellas. Big boys up front. Keith, we can come to you and start there with what you guys saw out on the practice field on Saturday as they for the first time in a couple of weeks, let fans back in to watch. Keith, your notes kick it off here with the big boys. So what do we got?
Yeah, so, well, first thing, we're still a little banged up on the offensive line. Austin Collins hasn't been out there. Like, he's been showing up to the practices, but has not been participating. He's a little banged up. Kevontay Sylvester was a little banged up on Saturday. But one interesting thing that we saw come from that was that Mac Pounders transfer out of Mississippi State. He took over as the starting left tackle in Sylvester's absence. So no other changes from what we had seen previously from that. So it was Pounders and Rasheed Miller at tackle, Nair Jackson and Lance Robinson at guard, Niagara at center with the ones on the offensive line. But while it's still spring ball, and yes, Sylvester was banged up, it's sort of at least a little glimpse into how things appear to be shaping up on the offensive line. Other things that I saw that I really enjoyed. Oh, the banter between Rasheed Miller and Clev Lubin. Freaking hilarious. Things are getting heated down there in the trenches. They were doing some one-on-ones and then they were doing some like run progression to the second level drills. And they weren't even going up against each other. Like Rasheed Miller's group was matched up with AJ Green's group when they were going, but Clev Lubin was just giving him the verbal business while Rasheed was trying to do his job, and then vice versa when Clev Lubin was up. So just a very entertaining time over with the Hog Mollies over on what is that? I assume it's not practice field 1 and it's not practice field 2. Is it just practice field 3, or do they have like a nickname for that field, Vince? The Pit?
I still haven't figured that out. I usually would just kind of call that one the one, closer to campus. There's a one by the street and then there's one by the indoor. That's kind of how I look at it. I mean,
descriptors are so football, man.
What's easier, field 1, 2, 3, or the one over by campus by the street, or we're over here by the indoor?
I thought it was going to be like Alpha Sigma Delta.
No, that's only whenever that was Coach Burr's. Like if we had to roll them out in threes, like Z, Y, X, it would be like Delta. The people used to laugh all the time. They'd be like, yeah, same thing you were saying. But I love the fact pads were on. Keith, we got to see some actual how the run game is going to be. Footwork, yes. Hand placement, all that good stuff was on full display the other day. So.
I was going to say actual football.
Whose cat was going in the background? That threw me off.
Dog, I have an older cat, let's just say, and he comes out like 3 times a day and just howls for like 5 minutes and then goes back to sleep. Like, it makes no sense. I'm looking for something to throw at him and I can't find anything right now.
I saw you start to click and I was like, oh, I guess it's
so loud, man. And it's like he doesn't want anything. He doesn't need anything. It's just like, I'm here. Don't forget, I haven't died yet. Like,
well, if we wouldn't have pointed that out, somebody would have said something in the comments, been like, was that a cat in the middle of the?
Yeah, no, but like, is that your smoke detector again? Like, it's making a different noise this time.
He's just letting all the rodents know.
Yeah,
hey,
don't
steer clear.
That's right.
That's right. But pads were on. There were a couple plays where, I mean, you could just see the run fits being perfectly, particularly on ones where they pulled and had to fit up inside. I absolutely loved that stuff. There was one, I wouldn't really classify it in the red zone. Opposite, we're going in where Isaac Brown just had a nice. We pulled around and he had a phenomenal cut, and it was just like, okay, it's good to see we haven't skipped a beat from game whatever to spring ball with how our offensive line and running backs fit, which was sick to see. At the same time, defensive line was fun to watch. I mean, they were physical. Who is the freshman linebacker, Keith?
Oh, Matlow. Caleb Matlow?
Yes, that kid's going to – I can't wait to see this kid. Maybe not this year. He looks like he looks like a freshman out there. I'm not going to lie, like size-wise. But, I mean, that's not going to be for long. I predict by the end of fall he'll be ready for full-time play, and next year being the guy. But the kid flies all over the field, which was sick. So
our D line looks so good, which makes our success in the running game that much more impressive. Like, even we've got 2 deep on the D line of players that impress, and even then more people that are kind of surprising me. Like the Saturday practice, Selah Brown. He had himself a freaking day, man. I was really impressed.
He's going to play. That's a good name that's I've heard a couple of times now over the first few weeks, and he's coming back off of a pretty significant injury. So that's something that you really love to see.
With no knee brace, just a sleeve on, the compression sleeve, that's something you really like. I mean, Blake Ruffin is out there in a knee brace right now, and not that hampered his play. He made phenomenal plays, but there's a big difference. As a guy that's been in a knee brace, I can tell you there's a huge difference from being in a knee brace opposed to being in a knee sleeve. I mean, just with how much you move. I was talking to Keith about it. We walked past the ladders, and I was like, I looked like a goober going through these with a knee brace on. But that's the more refreshing thing for me is Selah's in a knee sleeve. I mean, he ate. The D-line was getting pressure from what it looked like from my angle with just 4, maybe 5 guys coming at a time, and it was stunts, and it was really just hand placement and their penetration more than anything that was awesome to see.
I will say the practices, like normally in training camp, like I would normally say usually the defense gets up to speed quicker than the offense, kind of like how pitchers are ahead of hitters in spring training.
Right.
We're looking pretty balanced overall as a team right now, which has given me a lot of confidence in the offense.
I'm curious what it was, if it was 1s on 2s, 1 offense on 2 defense, 1 defense on 2 offense. Because if a guy like Selah is making plays against the 1 offense, that stands out a lot, in the film room, at least.
Yeah.
So, and to your point, Keith, nobody looked like they skipped a beat. And I think that's because they were going against, that's what the 1s are supposed to look like against the 2s. That's what they're supposed to look like.
Yeah. I mean, even in the 1-on-1 matchups, though, during like the down and distance situation drills, like the offense wasn't doing bad. There wasn't any particular massive, huge plays, but it looked very on schedule.
There was one thing with the offensive, since we're talking offensive line, this kind of correlates with it. Whenever Miller, he had 1 pass, and I don't know how, now this is 1 pass from 1 practice. I don't know what it's like for him every day in 11-on-11, but it did get batted down at the line of scrimmage when he was in the pocket. As Keith and I were sitting there saying, is that 6'2"? Is he really 6'2"? I'm not sure. But I don't know if that happens often. I'm just saying that could be worrisome.
I think our concerns were not unwarranted based on what we've seen so far. Yeah. But again, he's not a bad quarterback.
No,
he's not elite, but he's not been bad. And again, this is his very first spring ball. He's still
who did look elite Saturday. Now, this is how you know it's one practice. It's like you take everything that you go off. It's just one practice. Who is elite, Keith? Who is elite?
I'm trying to think of who you're going to say. Oh, one practice? I'll tell you who had a damn good day Saturday. Brady Allen. Someone who he's caught more than his fair share of strays. And a lot of times, like, the performance hasn't been great. Kid looked like a friggin' rock star Saturday. Like, making throws, finding open guys, fitting tight windows. Like,
he looked good, man. It was wild. Completely different guy.
He looked like the kid who was the number 10 ranked quarterback in his high school class. And we can sort of piggyback that into.
There was some
I'm still thinking about linemen.
There were some piggy rolls going on at the end of practice, wasn't there, Keith?
Yep. Well, some defensive players weren't living right and had to pay their sweat penance. But to piggyback off of the Brady Allen comment, we got a legitimate battle going on for QB2 right now. Like, Brady Allen and Deuce Adams just back and forth, because I still think Deuce has the most impressive arm on the team.
It's a flick.
Like, there was one, he just flicks the ball and it goes 40 yards downfield. It's unreal. I think he had one play where he tried to push one downfield, and the end of the play ended up resulting in an arm punt, but it was like a pick 50 yards downfield on a ball that was
like, I'm not disappointed that my redshirt freshman quarterback is out here attempting to make. He's seeing that. At least he's seeing the field. He's seeing that that's something that Brian Brom and Jeff can sit there and coach. You know, hey, Deuce, like, look that guy off next time, or maybe look at the guy. If they had a post going deep, I wasn't paying attention, but I'm sure there was something at like a shallow, something 10 to 15 yards underneath that he could have hit, that they're saying, hey, maybe not hit that, but hit this right here at the 15. We love the arm strength. We love the confidence, but that's stuff you can work with.
And even for that one throw, how many more were there where he's just hitting guys corner of the end zone on a couple of red zone drills where he's just hitting perfect tight windows for touch? Like,
I mean, you talk about in this day and age of a football player, particularly at the quarterback position, you can run to the transfer portal and decide to go do something different at any point. And, we brought Miller Moss in to be the guy this year, and Deuce realizing, okay, I'm likely going to have to take a back seat again this year. A lot of guys would hang their head, tuck their tail between their legs, and kind of just mope around and do their thing. If they have an interception, they might, that might derail them the rest of the entire freaking day, but not Deuce. Deuce is out there running around, jumping, going crazy on play. I mean, the kid's energy is contagious, and that is very noticeable, and feels good to know that we're not going to have to go to the transfer portal next year for a quarterback.
You know who else's energy was contagious? Coach Maz.
Oh,
that special teams play. So, of course, special teams period. If you were just listening to the coaching staff, you'd assume Coach Maz was the D coordinator. Just the way he was,
and that this was the most important period of the practice.
And that's the sort of thing that makes a good team great and makes great teams elite. Just his maniacal attention to detail and wanting all the players to get everything exactly right. Incredible. Like, there was one particularly bad errant long snap and maybe one other one on punt drill where one punt went over the punter, or snap went over the punter's head, had to blow the play up. And then I think another one that was offline. So, of course, as soon as that special teams period ends, rather than, special teamers going off and frolicking in Fern Gully or whatever they do,
right,
all of the snappers and all of the kickers are over on the practice field by the road, as Vince eloquently calls it.
There we go.
Working on long snaps for punt snaps for the next 2 periods of practice while team offense or team O&D were doing like down and distance.
That's not normal, Jacob. Like, whenever
that's being called to the teacher's office and you have to write 100 sentences. That's what that is right there. Yeah.
Especially at long, it's like practice. It's anything like that. Practicing your putting or anything, free throws. It's like, you're like, oh my God, like, really? I have to do 100.
This is so tedious.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, he was just drilling it, and you could still hear Coach Maz getting at people over the offense and defense.
We're on the opposite end. Yeah, we're about Traeger at this point. It's pretty cool. I love Maz, man. I would lay down in the middle of the road for that guy. He is a psycho.
You don't lead the country in blocked kicks or blocked punts, whatever the statistic was, without being a little bit crazy, right? I mean, you combine that Australian rules football, as you say.
I love it. There it is,
right?
Jacob. I didn't know if you were going to
energy,
notice it. Yeah.
With, all of it. And that's why you got guys out there like Travis Egan leading the way on special teams, because that energy is.
Who also looked
infectious.
good. I mean, I know we're not over here talking about our third, fourth string quarterback, but I mean, a lot of these guys had good days, not just the guys we're highlighting, but I had to get over there early to see what this wide receiver room was talking about, man. Being around Coach Brew and watching the past couple years of wide receiver individual drills, and I had to see what was different with Deion Branch and how attention to detail oriented he is, because I know he's going to be. I'm just curious on how. It's my football brain starting to the old hamster wheel starting to turn and smoke starting to come out of the ears. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm excited. This is awesome. And I mean, Deion from start to finish was probably one of the most detailed coaches out there. And it all started with the get-offs. I mean, every wide receiver coach starts it off differently. I mean, Brew, we would do ladder drills. Last year they did ladder drills. This year they're in the chute, and they did a drill I hadn't seen. And I mean, I don't know everything with wide receiver by any means, but with Brewer, we never really did this particular drill. And the guys were on 1 foot. So like Deion was in between the chute, the guys were inside the chutes, and Deion was in between the 2 chutes. You all know what I'm talking about when I say chutes, the wide receiver get off positions. So he had them on 1 foot, inside foot up, as they would be in a wide receiver stance, just drilling. They teach you to drill a nail through that big toe. And he had them drilling that nail through the big toe to eliminate the false steps that you get in the back foot of your starts and your get-offs at the wide receiver position, because guys will change. Obviously, if you're going inside, you might not want to have the same foot pressure as you would running a vertical go, or same as outside, but Deion teaching them to be comfortable in all these situations and feel good, just heavy on the front foot, that you can go whichever way, was awesome to see. You saw a lot of toe pointing drills, which just getting down to the fine details of the wide receiver position. Pointing your toe is one of the craziest things that you don't think of. You think your body's doing it, but when you really think about pointing your toe when you're running these routes, and it becomes second nature and you're doing it full speed, that's what really separates you. You saw him in the red zone. Chris Bell made a phenomenal catch on a ball in the red zone for a touchdown. And we're all going crazy because it's a great catch and everything. But Deion pulls Chris Bell off to the side. They all start moving back down the field, but Deion holds Chris Bell off to the side here in the red zone and is teaching him, because Chris was in the slot, a position that likely he doesn't. I don't know. I'm sure he plays it often. I don't pay attention. Don't have the PFF stats on that, but he had him in the slot teaching him, hey, you didn't have to make this such a hard catch. You made it a hard catch based off how you got off of your alignment, off where you went post-snap. He's like, lean into him here a little bit, and you saw him leaning into Chris, and you saw Chris take a couple steps back. He's like, and then subtle jab step and go, and now go. And point your toe, and that's where it becomes, oh, wow, how did Chris Bell create spacing there, opposed to, wow, great catch, bud, great catch, great ball, to where, now it's pitch and catch. It's the small detail. It's awesome. I could watch Deion coach all day.
Well, the thing that I always admire about just Chris Bell's game in general is the size and his ability to use his body as a shield, right? Like when you're that big, you can hold defensive back linebackers off.
Which is exactly what Deion was teaching, right. Which was teaching him in the red zone. Like, you are a big dude.
Yeah, use your body, right?
Exactly.
Like Anquan Bolden type of guy, right? Like that's the type of film he should be watching in terms of physicality and what he brings to the field. So that's great. I love to hear that. The Maz story is my favorite. Shout out to the wide receivers, but Maz is my guy. But in all honesty, though, as we kind of transition out of spring ball talk, I think the wide receivers, they've got the most to prove. I mean, them and the defensive backs. I think, that is where I love to hear about the offensive line and defensive line competition and the special teams and the running game and all that. But those are the two groups that have got to improve. And hopefully at the other end of this, we're talking about Antonio Meeks and, TJ McWilliams and some of these guys. Antonio Meeks standing out. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. He made some plays. Micah Rice made some plays as well. That's funny. The freshman we're talking about.
Micah Rice. Did you guys know that Micah Rice also can sing? Did you guys know this about this?
I'm
kid?
not surprised. His family is
Yeah,
extremely
so
talented.
we follow him from the State of Louisville on Instagram, and I just happened to click into a story, and here he is with some cover music, like covering and like pretty damn good, man. Like, might need to get Micah to sing the intro song here.
They're jujitsu
like,
people, and their family does a lot of. They swim. Like whenever their cardio at the gym, while I'm up there on the bike being a fat lard, they're swimming 100
we need
laps.
Guitar Center. We need like doo-wop shop. We need somebody to get in the NIL game and get Micah.
Doo-wop shop would be a legendary NIL deal. Oh my god!
There are some karaoke places like karaoke.
Yeah,
because he's a freshman, not
What's
karaoke
the
bars. I think it's just a
Ladyland,
karaoke lounge.
An Electric Ladyland NIL deal. Oh my god!
Yes, yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Get him out there.
There we go, man. I love that. Well, that is this week's version of the spring football breakdown.
We got to tell one small story
Okay.
that happened. They had that little skerfuffle, little pushing and shoving. That always ain't nothing to come of it. Nobody, no punches or anything.
No chasing people through a secret tunnel.
Yeah, no BS. No BS. Just your typical spring ball pushing and shoving match at the end of it. They let them go for like a couple seconds, but who do you see coming out in the back, coming around the back? Old Chris Bell. Me and Keith are just laughing. We're like, that's maturity. That's maturity right there.
But you know
he's not going in.
Don't make me return to my ways. You know, like.
And then he runs over, and I'm sure he's separating stuff. But then we go, well, you can't get 15 in practice.
Right.
Exactly.
Oh man, I love that. All right, well that will wrap it up here on the breakdown from spring practice this week. We've got about another 2 weeks before we get out there on April 11th for the spring game scrimmage practice hybrid, just football and beer. Like I know it doesn't matter.
That's fine.
They can just stand out there and
if they would honestly just do like $2 beers.
Yeah,
that stadium would be packed.
They used to do dollar beers. I mean, it was just
inflation, this economy, these days.
Inflation, right? Exactly. But hey, bring it back for the collective 502 Circle $2 beer nights, and like you said, I believe that they can pack out any stadium in Louisville with a $1, $2 beer night. Like I'm telling you, that is a proven fact. If you want to get people to show up, that's the way to do it.
Hey, how about we'll do a deal like 2 beers and a hot dog. I mean, come on.
Yeah, $7. Let's go.
Yeah,
that'd be actually I mean, actually, that would be a good deal for us. Really good deal for us.
Get the ball.
I would be double fisting beers and hot dogs the whole rest of the night, man.
What's the 999 spring game challenge?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk a little. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of challenges, we ran into our first little bit of turbulence on the recruiting trail. So 16 days after offering up a 1,000% verbal commitment to the Cards,
1,010% committed.
O-line, and look, I'm not going to knock the kid for that, but maybe let's not put percentiles on commitments. And this just isn't just this one kid. Who is it? I mean,
granted, LeBron Hill last year was the one.
But
yes, yeah.
Then again, are you a Power 4 program if your team didn't
committed the whole year?
Yeah,
and he decommits at 4 a.m.
I would almost respect it more if they put like I'm 25% committed. You know what I mean? Like, you give me
what happened to the soft commitments?
Right.
Well, didn't we used to do like soft commitments and hard commitments?
Right. Well, that was back in the day. I feel like before like social media, like where you could leak things, and there was like this window where only like 2 people knew. It's like a so. Let's just put like 43%, 52. Give me the actual where you're at. Like if you're sure,
like hey,
74. Let's just give me some confidence.
Are you more committed to me or your girlfriend?
Yeah.
That'll be I'll figure out where I'm at whenever you answer that one.
Like, hey, I like you guys, but I'm still listening to offers.
Right, we're talking.
But
that's what the kids say now. We're talking. We're not dating. We're not a thing. We're just talking. Maybe that needs to be the commitment status for some of these commits. Is we're just these high school recruits.
we're feeling each other out. So. Anyway, yes. So Joel Ervin, 6'6" offensive tackle from Fort Myers, took 2 back-to-back visits very shortly after committing to Louisville to Florida State and Miami, and then early on Monday, March 24th, decommitted from the Cards. So happy trails. We hardly knew you, but
Yeah, this is the equivalent of the Simpsons meme of the walking in and right back out of taking the hat off, right back out the bar.
On a positive spin zone, though, we picked up another commitment, and I got so geeked up about this kid. I sent you all his highlight tape the day he committed. Kevontay Hugan. It's either Hugan or Hugan. I'm going to go with Hugan just because it sounds better to start.
Would have been way better if it was Hogan.
Yeah, right. That's what I was kind of thinking too, man. Right?
So 3-star, listed as a defensive lineman. And this kid, he's a Swiss Army knife on the D-line. In his highlight, he's got him playing the 0. You got him playing 1, 3, 5, split out at the edge. Like, this kid can do it all. He's got 15 offers from P4 teams currently, including Penn State, Miami, USC, the California USC, not the South Carolina one.
Hey, I'll take either one. Not a bad offer list.
The only reason this kid is a 3-star prospect is because of his size. As a defensive lineman, he's currently 6'2", 235. So needs to grow, needs to gain some weight, but his tape is so impressive, especially playing South Florida football. This kid explodes off the line of scrimmage. Like, he has a track background as well, and it shows. Insanely quick first step. He's got great hand placement and great hand maneuverability to get offensive linemen off of him, and that results in so many plays where ball snapped and you blink your eyes and he's immediately in the backfield disrupting plays. He's got an A+ motor. The kid just does not stop pursuing the football, which is something that not just in defensive linemen, in any sort of football player, you want a kid that's got to have a great motor. This kid, great motor. This is going to be a kid that Louisville's probably going to have to battle with other programs as the countdown to December for National Signing Day goes on. But yeah, that can't get here fast enough for us to keep this kid.
He reminds me a lot. You're very high on him, Keith. I'm very high on him as well. And it's all about placement and fits. And I think he fits extremely well into what we do as a defense. And I think this guy would have fit really well into our defense, but he didn't pan out and do well under Scott Satterfield. And that's Jadarian Boykin, somebody who's on the smaller side of the defensive line, had a kick-ass highlight tape coming out of high school. Fast get off, everything like that. But again, stylistically did not fit much into what we were doing with Scott Satterfield, to whereas this defense right here, a kid like this fits perfectly into what we're trying to do.
Like, if he grows another inch or 2 inches this year, puberty, nature's best PED, if he can get from like 235 up to 250, we're gonna have to fight major college football powers for this kid. Because
even then, like
talented.
at 6'2", 235, a team like us will, regardless, the kid's a baller. You can move him a position, inside linebacker maybe. Star. You never know what the kid's body type will do, how he'll react and stuff, like to your college athletic and strength programming. So we'll just have to see. I'm very excited about the kid. The kid has potential through the fucking roof.
Yeah. If we hold on to this kid, it would not shock me, even if he doesn't quite have a full grown out frame yet. I would not be shocked if this kid gets play like exclusively as a passing down, pass rush D lineman, because he can line up, he can play the interior, and if it's like 3rd and 20, or if we're up 21 with like 10 minutes to play, get him on the field and he will make it into the backfield and give an offensive coordinator just the worst time of his life. So this is the most impressive tape I've seen from a Louisville kid, like from a commitment in the Braum era. And that's saying something. Yeah. This kid's really good.
I was trying to find Brady's Twitter because I couldn't remember how long ago I had liked his Let's Play Football tweet that he always tweets whenever we get a commit. And I was like, okay, it is for Hugan. Yeah, Hugan, definitely.
Yeah.
Hugan. It's not Hugan. Now that I try and verbalize that, Hugan
it's definitely Hugan.
Yeah,
I definitely think it's Hugan. But yes, I could see either way. Look, no one ever accused us of being good with pronunciation. Okay, it's kind of a thing here. Like, you get what you get, right?
Killed it on the live show at Tin Roof, though. It's insane. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like your brain turns off whenever we do the football show.
It's like a nervous tick with some names. There's some names where like it's kind of like the Charles Barkley swing. I get there and then I just kind of trip over myself and I lose confidence. It just leaks out like quickly. But speaking of Louisville's newest commit here, he is the top rated prospect in the class of 2026 for the Cards now, according to 247 Sports. So you're talking about another Florida kid in the mix. Louisville's top two kids are from Florida, defensive line and a cornerback. So I love the foundation of this class already. That's huge.
I'm pretty sure Mark Ivy recruits that area. Yep. I mean, the kid added Mark Ivy in his commitment post. So,
so
shout out to Ivy again.
And then you've got the local kids right behind them with Evan Hampton, Carson Bush, and Marlon Harbin and Sam Dawson. Shout out to Crestwood, Kentucky, as the next kids in the hopper there for Louisville in terms of commitment. So things are picking up. They're ranked, I think, 8th nationally in the recruiting rankings right now. A lot of that is just sheer number because they have 11 commits.
Everybody else, stop recruiting. Stop
the count. Right?
Yeah, we're stopping the count right now.
We can hang the banner if Louisville, if the recruiting stopped on March, today's date, and they went to the results, Louisville would be 8th in the country. So shout out to Louisville, shout out to the recruiting staff. But in all seriousness, if you've listened to the show, you've heard some of the conversations around high school recruiting for the last couple of years since Jeff Brom came to Louisville, and just the approach of being portal heavy versus high school recruiting heavy, and kind of what that means short term and long term. So it is a great sign to see them being very aggressive in the class of 2026. And as Keith has kind of alluded to, I mean, look, part of them is recruiting these kids and getting that initial commitment. But like you see with Joel Ervin, right, you got to keep them in the fold. And there is nothing but time between now and December. High school kids can't make their minds up on anything. I've been in high school. And just deciding what I wanted to do on a Friday night sometimes was the hardest decision in life, So
can you imagine, like, bro, like imagine
36% committed.
Imagine you're the dude, you're the 5-star offensive tackle, and me and Keith are your buddies sitting there playing video games, and I mean, me and Keith are going to join whatever fraternity at whatever SEC school, and you're going to play big time college football, and I don't know, Kirby Smart calls you. And you're committed to Kentucky. Me and Keith are going to be sitting over here like, you're an idiot. What are you doing? Right. Go play football. Like, you never know who's in these kids' ear, these high school kids' ears. It could be anybody from Unc down the street or Joe Schmo, me and Keith sitting next to him playing PlayStation.
So I got a question for you real quick before we transition off the recruiting trail. Still early in the game. So a lot of these kids' ratings, as they get more or less exposure, can go up or down. And who knows what comes into the fold? We could bring in a lot more. Do we have a top 25 recruiting class for high school come National Signing Day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it'd be the first one ever.
I think so.
It was close a couple of years ago, right? I think it fell like shortly right outside of the top 30, maybe top 25. Yeah. You're going to obviously have to you've got to get some 4-star kids, because right now you're 3 stars. And I know ratings don't necessarily matter in terms of the outcome of how good those players are, but they do when it comes to the ratings and the talent, the score that they get when they calculate the overall rating. So right. I think for Louisville, you got to add, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8, 4 stars, maybe get a 5-star in there. I don't know. It might be too late in the game for that, considering how long it takes these relationships to develop. But you never know. Money talks, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does.
Well, it's great to see things are on the upswing for Louisville football recruiting.
And you know what else is great to see? Our now recurring segment. Ooh. Second time ever. What are you talking about? So this is not necessarily dedicated to Louisville football or anything specific, just what's been going on in the world that has you talking. And I led off, and I'm pretty sure, Jacob, you went last on the last episode. So let's flip the order. Jacob, you're up first.
Yeah. Look, I've been so tapped out on football the last couple of weeks, just with basketball around, despite my son clamoring for football as much as he can get it on the television. So I don't really have much football to talk about. I was going to come on and talk about how, Puka Nacua made comments about retiring at the age of 30. We just saw Sam Hubbard retire at 29 and how important it is to have a 401k and a retirement plan. But I'm 31 and I don't have a 401k or a retirement plan. So that would be really bad advice on my part. So what I can lean into and beat Vince to is the entertainment side of things and the Netflix documentaries. They've been on a roll as of late. If you see the text between Vince and I throughout the week, it is mostly talking about the Osama bin Laden documentary that we still can't seem to get released. But I don't know if it's the United States government. I don't know.
I'm with you and Taylor
Trump,
at this point. It's
what's going on?
I think something is said on there and they don't want it out. I'm with you and Taylor.
Well, they're too busy leaking war plans via text message.
Exactly
so.
right. Oopsies. But Netflix has a new documentary that comes out either this week or next week called Gone Girls, the Long Island Serial Killer. And it is essentially the story of how Long Island did not know that they had a serial killer living amongst them. It's a really sad story because it's a person that targeted sex workers and particularly women. But it is just really fascinating to see how a story or something like this can unfold without people knowing and the impact of it. This happened way back in, I think, 2011 or 12. And this trial is just now beginning over the coming weeks. And the dude that did it, like, not spoiler alerts, but the dude looks like Harvey Weinstein. Like, there's definitely a type. There's definitely a type.
I'm excited for this. Like, I get what you're saying, Jacob. Oh God, I see what we're talking about now. I get what you're saying, Jacob. Like, I'm excited for this, but it's hard to be excited for like serial killer content because there is victims involved in the whole situation. But
sure,
I mean, watching the ones on HBO. Netflix, in my opinion, always does the best because they're usually 3-4 parters, and you get into the nitty gritty of the details. So,
and we've been on a roll, right? From Mr. McMahon to
2025 has been nothing but
the Joplin documentary, which I refuse to watch. My wife is over here, and she'll get a kick out of this. But I've probably brought it up like 15 times. Like, I don't know. I think I kind of want to watch it. And every time she's like, "No, you don't." No,
Tornado.
We're not watching it.
You can't watch that, dude.
No,
you hear thunder and the whole family's in the tub.
Right, exactly right. If you know anything about me, I am very storm safe. But I'm excited to see this, to hear the story. So that is what I'm talking about this week. So Vince, what do you got, man?
Ooh, was very excited. I knew what I was talking about from the moment this happened. Everybody's talking about how boring this March is, how there's no upsets, nothing's going on, and March Madness, and it's not as much madness as we want it to be. Not so fast, my friends. An Olympic champion went down this weekend. Wyatt Hendrickson absolutely stuns the wrestling world and defeats Gable Steveson in the last seconds of Mat Madness, is what they call it.
That's pretty cool.
That's a good one. I'm a year and a half, 2 years into my wrestling fandom, but this shit was insane, dude. An American fucking hero. What is crazy about this to me is, think about this, Jacob, in terms of basketball. This is how it'll really click in your head. Anthony Davis and Christian Laettner, whenever they played on the Olympic team, they went straight to the pros after that in professional careers. They didn't go play in Italy or do something else for 2 years and keep playing basketball and then come back to Duke and Kentucky. Like, that didn't happen. Gable Steveson had 2 years removed from Minnesota to be awful in the WWE. And what else did he do after WWE? I know he didn't try and professional.
He tried to play football.
Yes, he played football. Yes, which is almost insulting to people who play football.
And then
he gets an opportunity.
He tried doing competitive MMA too.
He trains. He trains John Jones in the wrestling department, which makes sense. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. But funny clip was whenever he was training John Jones, like, John Jones pulled his head down and Gable went for like an ankle pick and John kneed him in the face. It's like, can't do that in MMA.
Yeah, there's levels to the combat sports here.
Bro, this is like, to put that in perspective, like, think about Christian Laettner and Anthony Davis. They didn't come back and do that. And for him to just beat an Olympian, he beat not a silver or bronze, not just like a guy that went, a gold medalist with the president there. I mean, it was absolutely. I mean, this was crazy. I had every video I watch, I get chills watching it.
So to put a cherry, because I think we jumped it a little bit. Yeah, so he did 2 years at Minnesota, went and did all of that, and then came back to college and was wrestling.
I don't understand how that works either. I don't understand how
I don't know.
eligibility. What are we talking about? As far as
you still have eligibility, right?
Yeah, what is going on?
Both of you all do. I had 5 years because I didn't play a single down or snap or second, so I got time.
I didn't think it froze though. I thought like I can't go back and do football because I would technically still have my redshirt junior, my redshirt senior, and my medical year. But I technically don't have that now, right? Because the time continues to tick.
But if you're,
you could beat the NCAA in court and get it,
right? Or if you're an NCAA security guard responsible for these events, you're going to tell homie he can't participate. Like, are you going to be the guy that does that? Not me.
Yeah. They probably said what sells more tickets, Gable Stevenson wrestling in the national championship or not.
Right.
So for those of you who talk puck, the hockey folks, this is Miracle on Ice level upset that happened in wrestling. Just absolutely absurd. What was the national champion's name again?
Wyatt Hendrickson.
Wyatt Hendrickson, Oklahoma State Cowboys.
The cool thing about him is he's actually taken his 5th year at Oklahoma State. The first 4 years, Keith, correct me. I know you saw this text. Was it Air Force or Navy? He's one of the two.
Navy.
Yeah. Navy. So he's actually 4 years in the Navy, has to do 2 years. Like, I'm not sure how he was explaining it in his post match interview. Because he's 100% committed to that. I understood that part. He said, I fully intend to do my military service to this country, but he also wants to wrestle at the Olympics. I mean, for God's sake, he just beat our gold medalists. I mean, I'd say the kid gets an opportunity to at least go to the trials and shit. So
hell yeah, man. All right, Keith, what we got? Bring us home.
So, our basketball coverage from starting 502, at least for the season, ended a bit abruptly. And
featuring Fitz.
I'm going to be brave, and I'm actually going to put this hot take out on the airwaves for the first time. You guys have heard it. When it comes to sports as random as basketball, single elimination tournaments are dumb, stupid, and bad because random things happen. So
I didn't see
for
this
people.
coming.
So for people, there's no madness. No, there shouldn't be, because I want to see the best of the best. So my NCAA tournament hot take, as the ever-looming threat of adding games to the tournament comes for the sole purpose of generating more TV revenue, because that's what everything in this sphere exists for now, rather than a random single elimination tournament where a dude who can be pushing Enterprise rent-a-cars can jack up the most busted jump shot you've ever seen 15 times in a game, get lucky 12 times, and all of a sudden a team full of NBA draft picks is going home. That's dumb and bad. I want to see the top 16 teams in the country. No conference affiliation, no whatever. The best 16 in a best of 7 playoffs format. You add to the sample size and you create a less random result so you can truly determine who is the champion. And think about it. Who are some of the biggest stars in basketball right now not named Cooper Flagg? What's the guy on Tennessee? Chaz Lanier.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't love to see Game 7, Cooper Flagg, Chaz Lanier, national championship? The ratings would be electric. And to scratch that small college Cinderella story itch, you expand the NIT to 64 teams, and now you have even more television inventory to generate even more revenue. It's just a shame you'd miss half the games because ESPN wouldn't stagger the start times appropriately.
That's right. But what you just did is you just combined college football bowl season with the NBA playoffs. You just made this hybrid playoff system here.
It worked in my brain, though.
You defined the NBA playoffs. I mean, that's exactly what that is. And in my opinion, and this is I've said this for my entire life, the NBA Finals, when it is a competitive matchup, is the best basketball you will find in the world. It is so good.
The Cavs 3-1 series, Warriors, that was the best. I remember where I was sitting
Right.
Heat Spurs.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those series
the
were
Ray Allen
electric.
shot. Right. But I will give you, I hear where you're coming from. I think your take is absolute hogwash because the March Madness is the greatest sporting event in the history of the world.
Bullshit.
randomness is
College
what
football
makes it-
playoffs is right there.
I will debate this for the entirety of my life. Like, because college football playoffs are the same 8 teams for the last 20 years. The part about March Madness is that we can get a team of plumbers and firemen in the Final Four, right? Like, to hell with some of your NIL money. We've been buddies for 4
We had
years.
no
We've
business
played-
losing to that bum from
I
Creighton,
agree.
Jacob. I'm with
I
Keith.
agree. That's right. It sucks when it happens, but that's the beauty of the NCAA tournament is that a CPA or youth pastor can send you home in the first round when you're the higher seed. That's just the way that it goes.
One more thing, since we're on basketball right
Sure.
here. Sweet 16. We're right on to the Sweet 16. Do you know who owns the term Sweet 16?
I do not know.
It's KHSAA,
They
right?
do. We are
Yeah!
I believe we are still the only state in the country that has a one singular basketball state
elimination.
champ.
Yeah, Keith, do you
Single
want a 7-game
basketball.
tournament there for each of those rounds as well?
I do. Trinity hasn't won enough. Trinity hasn't won enough.
Well, I mean, I'd be stunned if St. X doesn't walk away with it this year just because they are nice.
Shut up.
But hey,
I don't need
more
that in my
games to
life.
watch St. X play.
Juan Soto.
And also, there's no
Garrett
TV
Cole has-
revenue in high school
Why are
basketball.
you trying to do that to me? I mean, I've had
this
so
is-
much
yeah, it's
bad
getting
fortune in
personal,
my
but,
sports world that you want St. X to win. I don't know what I think and assume is their first basketball state championship. I don't think they've won it before.
Most Galatians
Trinity?
4:16.
I'm pretty sure Trinity did.
Most
Trinity's
Sorry, I
won one.
stomped
I
all
know
over you. My bad. My bad.
Trinity's
My
won
bad.
one,
Go.
but we won
Yes,
two.
okay.
Or one.
Vince, you'll appreciate this. Galatians 4:16. Most people rejected his message. They hated Jesus because he told them the truth. They hate me for my NCAA tournament proposal because I speak the truth.
Can't combat scripture, Jacob. Hard to fight the word.
Whew. All right. Well, look, I'm here for it. It's a take, and bring your best take every week, Keith. We can debate it all day long. Vince, I'll go to the nth degree, the 9th degree of debating the NCAA tournament in basketball as the single greatest sporting event. Because
Now,
of it.
Dude, come on.
Nobody gets to
Louisville,
take. Nobody
Omaha?
takes off work to watch the college football playoff. Man, nobody fills
Because
out
we
a
don't
Because the
need
games
to.
are at
We
night.
Schedule it well because we schedule things well.
Right, but there's one game at a time. Why do that when you could have 16 games? Are you kidding me?
You can't
I had
even
3
watch
TVs
half
out
that
on
shit.
Friday.
Oh,
It was
That's eight-
amazing. It was amazing.
8 first-round series. You
It
could
was
pack all 8 game ones in one day. And then you have the NIT with 64 teams to just scratch that. You could get an extra day. Start the tourney on a
Everybody's
Wednesday.
going to opt
And
out
then
of
you get the
damn
Thursday,
NIT,
Friday.
just like they do the damn college football bowl games. We're going to be talking about a bunch of, third stringers and walk-ons, which, I mean, hey, shout out to them, man. Shout out to
Whatever,
them.
man.
We have teams playing in the CBI, the NIT currently. Like, we got 64 teams already participating in those.
My rankings of tournaments goes Omaha, college football playoffs, March Madness.
Wow, the Omaha's an upset. I didn't see that coming, man.
Audience.
I think
I'm
I just
gonna-
did that.
Call to
just to
action.
give you-
Audience. Call to action, audience. Get in the comments. Is my take dumb and bad, like
Yes.
single elimination tournaments? Or is it right? What are you all talking about in the audience? Hop in those comments. Get those bad boys buzzing. Leave some audio reviews as well for those of you listening on the podcast-centric side. Get in there. Tell us we rule. Don't tell us we're bad, just that we're good. Only positive news. I'm sensitive.
7-game football
Yeah.
series. Do it.
Everybody would
God.
die. Yeah, everybody
That
would
would be
die.
too- that would
By
way
the
too
end, it
much.
would just be like everybody would look like Bishop Sycamore by the end of that, man. Just like falling apart left and right.
We were
I can't
talking
even
about
imagine.
third
It would
strings
just
and
be
walk-ons playing.
just a bunch of bones snapping and ligaments tearing all over the place. But hey, Louisville football, spring football continues on. There are 2 more dates for you to get out there and see the cards. 1 more practice coming up on Thursday, the 27th, for the spring game on the 11th of April. So get out there if you haven't already. Like Keith said, subscribe to the show, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on social at Pink Seats Pod, at the State of Lou, and we will be back over the next couple of days to talk through the final practices and preview the spring game. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, go Cards.